Officer Fido.
Good afternoon.
Are you familiar with the case of Wilbur the pig?
Yes, I am. I am the lead investigator in that case.
And for those who don't know, who is Wilbur?
Wilbur was a city councilman in our own city of Pawnee. Wilbur died on April 12th at approximately 3 p.m., and his death has caused quite the media frenzy.
How did Wilbur die?
The cause of his death is still unknown. He seems to have had died of natural causes, although we have not completely ruled out foul play.
Was Wilbur the type to have enemies?
Speaking from personal experience, Wilbur was a friendly and charismatic pig. In my investigation, I have not found any enemies in his personal life. However, his political ambitions were widely known, and I imagine there are a few people that would take issue to this.
What political ambitions did he have?
There is cause to believe that Wilbur was running for mayor. His city council mates and the mayor herself knew him well. He was a popular guy, and I can see the possibility that some running mates felt threatened by his popularity.
But going back to what you said earlier, his death still seemed to be the result of natural causes?
Well, yes. Wilbur died alone in his home, and we actually were able to obtain video footage from the crime scene.
Do you have a copy of that footage today?
Yes, I have set up that video as well as some other evidence from the crime scene for the jury's viewing. I could not really draw out much from the evidence back there.
Thank you, officer. No further questions at this time.
You're welcome.
Good evening, Charlotte.
Good evening.
What was your relationship with Wilbur?
Well, we've been married for 11 years, and we have a son in college, so we were very close.
You were the one to discover Wilbur's body, correct?
Back from yoga, and I found Wilbur on the ground in the living room unconscious.
Then what did you do?
I was stunned, but I managed to call 911 on the home phone.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Moving on, were you two having marital issues or other family issues that could strain your relationship?
We've been fine. We go through the same things everybody else goes through as married couple. But our relationship is strong.
Have you noticed any abnormal changes in behavior or mood leading up to his death?
To be completely honest, he had been complaining of dizziness and nausea for the past 2 weeks, so I insisted he go see a doctor. And the doctor claimed that he had these symptoms were consistent with mono. So.
Was he administered any drugs to treat these symptoms?
No, he just was told to rest and take Advil. His symptoms persisted, so we took the doctor's word, and we assumed that he would get better with rest.
Can you please outline for me what you did the morning of April 12th, 2015?
What did I do? I woke up at around 8 a.m., I took a shower, I made breakfast, and I noticed Wilbur wasn't feeling too well, so he called in sick from work, and I left the house to go run errands, get groceries, and go to yoga class.
Can you please be any more specific regarding when exactly you left and ran your errands?
No, my watch is broken and I don't have.
Okay, thank you. We have no further questions, but be prepared to be called back to the stand if we need it. Again, I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Dr. Wally.
Good evening.
Dr. Wally, what connection do you have to the Wilbur the pig case?
I was the coroner who analyzed the body evidence found by the police.
Let's start with the crime scene evidence. Doctor, what did you look at?
I examined the syringes found at the crime scene, as well as the blood splatter found.
And what did you find?
Well, before I discuss my findings, I would like the jury to draw their own conclusions to confirm my findings. I wouldn't want them to have a bias while looking at the evidence.
The jury found that the shape of Wilbur's blood cells is consistent with sickle cell anemia. Can you tell us some of the symptoms of sickle cell?
Sickle cell causes episodes of pain and vision loss, fatigue, and can increase the chances of contracting an infection or having a stroke.
The jury also found insulin and cortisol on Wilbur's syringes.
Yes, insulin makes sense. As you saw in Wilbur's medical history, he had type 1 diabetes, meaning his body can't produce insulin, so he had to inject it regularly. As for the cortisol, I don't really know why that was there.
What is cortisol?
Cortisol is a type of steroid that is released into the blood in response to things like stress or low blood sugar. It's usually used to treat inflammation like severe allergies, rashes, or joint problems.
What does cortisol do?
Well, it can have a lot of different effects, since it stops production of substances that cause inflammation. It also blocks certain sugars from getting across body cell membranes because it prevents certain glucose transporters from moving over the membrane. Cortisol can also increase the time it takes wounds to heal and helps regulate electrolyte and water balance with the kidneys and intestines.
Moving on, Dr. Wally, what did you find when you examined Wilbur's remains?
Well, I wrote it all down in the medical report at the back, all pretty routine. There were a few interesting things though, the head trauma, ibuprofen, and insulin buildup. Although I suppose the insulin buildup could have been a result of too many injections in the same place. Anyways, read the report for all the information you need.
Is that all?
Well, I didn't have time to run the urinalysis test. I set it up in the back though. If the jury could run it for me, that would be great.
Will do, doctor. Thank you. No further questions.
Good evening, Mayor Natasha.
Good evening.
How do you know Wilbur?
Wilbur is, well, he was a prominent city council member and a close friend. We've been working on a lot of projects together recently.
Did he have any enemies at work, or was he acting strange recently?
Not that I know of. Wilbur was well liked throughout the office. But now that I think about it, he has been acting a little strange. I think it might have had to do with his recent health issues. His wife has been coming in at work a lot to help him with his medications.
And did you see Wilbur at work on April 12th, the day of his death?
No, I didn't. He called in sick that morning.
There have been rumors circulating that Wilbur had been planning to run against you for mayor in the coming election. Is this true?
I mean, it might be. We never really talked about it directly.
And you have been mayor of this town for how long?
3 years.
Wilbur was very popular around town. Someone with that much influence in the town running against you could surely make you nervous.
I wasn't nervous. I have faith in my voters. I know that they'll make the right decision.
But isn't it true that Roger the Rabbit saw the two of you fighting last Thursday?
It was a simple argument. People get into fights all the time. It doesn't mean I wanted to kill him or anything.
Then what were you fighting about?
Just simple work stuff, work disputes. It was nothing really.
Isn't it true that you were late to work the day of Wilbur's death?
It's not my fault. There was an accident, there was traffic. I couldn't control it.
It's always traffic.
Wait, guys! I found some additional evidence at the crime scene. I think you'll want to see this. It's the trash can that was in Wilbur's bedroom. Feel free to dig through and take a few minutes to discuss what you find. We also found some additional evidence on Wilbur's cell phone.
Yeah.
Hello, Charlotte. We've called you back because we have further questions regarding your husband's death.
Okay, that's fine.
Can you please explain why we found a wedding ring and ripped picture of your marriage in the trash?
We just had a fight. Nothing too serious. All couples have fights.
Can you tell me anything more about this fight?
Well, he's never home anymore, and he's always working late, and he's prioritizing work over family, and he's been distant in our relationship lately. I wanted to see a marriage counselor, but he didn't believe in therapy, so...
How long has this been an issue?
About 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Oh, so 3 weeks before his death, excuse me.
These issues started?
These issues started 3 weeks before his death.
Okay, I understand. Isn't that around when your husband started showing symptoms?
Yes, but why are you suspecting me? Do you honestly think I could do something like that? I loved him. We had a family. We had a child. I wouldn't let a silly fight ruin our relationship and result in a death.
I'm not pointing fingers at anyone. I'm just asking a question.
Fair enough, but I don't want to be ridiculed. Excuse me. Achoo!
Are you sick?
No, I have severe allergies around this time of year.
Oh, are you prescribed anything for it?
Yes. Cortisol.